Mhm. All right. Friday morning, the Eagles have another win under their belt.
That's crazy. What a game.
Awful game. Awful game.
I mean, it wasn't good. I honestly didn't watch. I was tracking on my phone because I was a bettor of Giants +6. Thank you very much. But yeah, it seemed. I mean, when the Giants and Eagles play, if the Eagles have to keep it that close, I assume it's just a terrible game.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a terrible game in the sense of like the sport of football. It was a terrible game in the sense that I'm an Eagles fan and I had to watch my team like almost lose to the Giants.
Yeah, should have lost. Probably should have lost it.
Definitely should have lost that game. They couldn't do anything on defense against a Giants offense that has no business doing anything. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Can I bring up something that I actually thought of on my so as you can all notice, I'm in a new spot. I'm back home in Boston for the weekend. I was driving up last night and there was a thought that occurred to my head when I saw your tweet while not driving. I was stopped when I saw your tweet. I wasn't driving and looking at Twitter. Just want to make that clear. But I saw that you tweeted that the NFL refs are on the Giants side or something like that. A thought came to my head. What if it's not the teams paying the refs that like to help them through the game, but just Vegas being like, hey, we're going to take a $10 million loss if the Eagles hit here. Let's just pay these refs like $1 million to help the spread finish on our side.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely possible. I think that regardless of where the corruption comes from, it's like you can definitely see at times, and I'm not trying to get into a big conversation about like the potential like issues with like sports betting corruption, but there are clearly times in games that you're watching across all sports where
Mm-hmm.
a ref makes a call that regardless of if they see it from a different angle while they're standing on the field, regardless if they see it from like in full speed compared to the slow-mo that we see on TV, regardless of like all aspects, they make a clearly wrong call. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, I want like talk about content. I want
Mm-hmm.
I want there to be like a Judge Judy TV show for like refs every week. Like every week,
Let's do it.
you
Why
get
can't it be us?
you get them on TV, you review the play, you see it in full speed, you see it in slow mo, you see it from different angles because they have a billion cameras at the stadium. I don't understand why we can't have a Judge Judy or like a Maury for like refs, all sports. That's
Yeah,
great.
but we can only be looking at it in live speed because that's all they see it, and they don't review penalties anymore.
Well, I mean, like, live speed, slow mo, it doesn't matter. They have cameras everywhere.
The cameras don't help them with anything other than like challenges on like turnovers and stuff.
Yeah, but no, like, I mean, you review the play. We're getting too much into
Yeah,
this. It's
sure.
great content.
Yeah. Anyway, the reason I brought this up is because a lot of people call the Patriots cheaters for the refs give them all the calls. I just wanted to exonerate the Patriots in this matter and say it's Vegas' fault, not the Patriots' fault. But anyway, let's go to week 2 of BTH, Build the House.
Yeah, week 2 of Build the House. Last week
I heard we had some sponsors.
We do. I have a read. Unfortunately, technically I don't have a read because they didn't send me anything this week. They just said like you did so well last week. They go off the top of the head. So this first ad is for Fiesta Side Nor Fiesta Side Spanish rice. Sam, are you a rice guy?
Come on, I'm brown. I eat rice with every meal.
Yeah, rice. I mean, it's one of the best like grains. I have it with everything: chicken, beef, turkey, like whatever meal that you're cooking that night. Like unless it's I guess Italian food probably doesn't work with it all too much, but pretty much every other meal. I mean, like if you go to Japan, these people have been eating this shit for like billions of years before dinosaurs. Billions.
Yeah.
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 So the one that they sent me is the Spanish rice. I mean, it gives a little perk to the side of your meal. Like if you're looking, I brought it up last week, I think, with one of our ads, but like you might be like gaining a little bit of weight over quarantine. Instead of like having mac and cheese as a side, instead of having like noodles as a side, like maybe like switch it up with a little bit of Nor Fiesta side Spanish rice. It's like for this entire pack, you probably feed a family of like 4 in most parts of the world, and it's only 280 calories for the entire thing. Like,
I mean, that's basically, you'd be skinny after you eat just one.
yeah, I think you actually burn more calories eating it than you do like in the process of eating it than you do from the actual food itself. So yeah, Noor, I hope I did a good job on that ad read. Noor, thanks for sponsoring Build the House episode 2, but you didn't give me a read, so like whatever.
Yeah, that's on them, but I think they'll be very satisfied with the job you just did there.
All right, week 7, Packers, Texans opens at -3 in favor of the road team, the Packers. It's now at -3.5 in their favor. Over is 55.5. Go ahead, Sam.
Okay, so before we actually jump into this game, I just want to say I have no idea what my record was last week. I watched the show 3 times to like re-pick up what my picks were, and I still completely forgot them. I just know that I went 2-2 on my model locks. You went 3-1 on your model locks. It came down to the difference of the Cowboys Cardinals game, which I clearly just overthought. That was done by me, but I overthought it. You did not overthink it. You were correct there. This is another game that I'm thinking I might overthink because the Texans are 1-5 and the Packers are.
Don't do this. Don't do this. First game, you're gonna do this. Oh my god.
Why is this spread 3.5? The Packers just got an absolute beatdown. This is a total bounce back game for them. Why is this spread 3.5?
They're playing games with you.
No sense.
Playing games with you. Do not overthink this. This is so easy. You do not go. You do not. If you're about to take the Texans, you deserve to be kicked off of the show. You deserve to have all of your betting accounts frozen because it's like a sight to see someone possibly think. I don't care if 99% of the public is on the Packers. You're taking the Packers. There's no.
No, I'm taking the Texans. Texans plus 3.5. Count it. Your pick.
I don't even really need to talk too much more about this. Like this is the most. I think this week I will say that's a good intro because I will say that a lot of the lines this week, they're like Vegas is playing games. Like Vegas is playing games with you where you're like, why is it this way? When you look at the past, it's week 7. We're halfway through. We're basically halfway through.
The Packers should be 8-point favorites.
You're betting with the public this week. That's all I'm saying. If you ride every public bet, if you ride with the public on every bet, all 14 games, whatever there are, if you ride with the public on every bet, you are going to come out at least 60%, if not better, this week. Guaranteed. You lock that in right now. By the way,
I hope you put that in the square.
Public. This is a public service announcement that you're betting the public. The public.
I'm going to fade the public.
I'm
going to build the house. We need the public for us to build the house.
Your house is going down. My house is going to get bigger so I can let more people of the public in. Your house is going down.
If we are the house, we need the public to lose so we can build our house.
No, that's not true. It's it doesn't matter. I don't care about like value picks. Winning's winning. You win.
I'm on the Texans.
Winning. Okay, Packers.
That might be Packers. Yeah.
Packers. I would take because so we had a little discussion, me and a couple of buddies yesterday, that I'm always on the side that Vegas gives the home team 3 points automatically when they create their lines, just like they give them 3 points for being the home team. So this line actually should be -6.5 Packers. If you think the Packers are going to win by a touchdown, you take the line, and I would buy it up to -6.5 easily. There's no reason.
I hope you do inverse.
There's no reason why the Packers are not going. Like the Packers are going to win this game. They're not going to.
Mm.
I'm done talking about this game. Cowboys, Washington football team.
This line is a pick on Andy Dalton. It opened at -3 for the Cowboys. I think everyone watched the Monday night game and realized the Cowboys should never be 3-point favorites in the game again. I honestly don't really have a play on the game just because it is going to be a shit show, but I will tell you take the over 46.
Ooh,
And that's something the public is on. 80% of the public is on the over. And it still moved down from 49 to 46, but yeah, I'm taking that.
Okay. I don't think that I'm touching the over-under in this game. What I am touching is the Cowboys. Ron Rivera, Riverboat Ron, I don't know if people watched the game last weekend against the Giants, but they literally were in a position to tie the game with 1 second left on the clock. They scored a touchdown, and they were in the position to tie the game with an extra point, and he went for 2. He's like, they're playing in preseason. They're playing preseason football. Why? Because they hate Dwayne Haskins. Like, he's gone. Like, Dwayne Haskins is done. Like, his career's over. Sorry, adios, amigo. They're playing with a guy who probably should have never stepped foot on a football field again. They want to be in the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes. They're not winning this game. If it's down to
they're playing. They're playing prison ball. Like, you see the movie The Longest Yard, that's what the Washington football team is playing. But in some cases, like in Longest Yard, spoiler alert, Fox, the team that you expect to lose wins. So I'm switching. I'm going to fade you. I'm going to take the Washington football team.
Okay. All right. That's fine. I just think that there's 2 teams. There's 2 teams in this league currently that are desperately trying to lose games. They might entertain the fact that they want to win for a decent period of time, but they're trying to lose games. And they know that they're trying to lose games. That's the goal coming in on Sunday. The goal is to lose. And I think that's the Washington football team is one of them. So I'll be taking the Cowboys. They still have a shot at there. And the Cowboys are a franchise that refuses to lose. Mike McCarthy's job is on the line. I think he comes out. I think they steamroll. The Washington football team.
You think Mike McCarthy is capable of holding his job that easily?
I think that he's forced to. So if I'm going to bet for or against somebody's job, I'm always going to bet. Like, basically, I'm saying like that this is like a job game, even though it probably isn't. I'm going to say that it is. This is a job game.
JG.
This is a job game. Mike McCarthy needs to keep
JG.
Job game.
JG.
Job. Hold on. Job.
No, it's just JG.
Job game. Job game. McCarthy's
fun fact, we've made 2 picks so far. You've been on the road team both times. I've been on the home team both times.
Interesting. We'll see if
you've been with the public both times. I've been with the house both times.
We'll see if that stands on the next game. Feel free to take it away.
All right. Yes. Next game is the Falcons versus the Lions. The Lions are the road team plus 2.5 points. The line opened with the Falcons being a 2-point favorite. It has since moved by 0.5 point, which in the grand scheme of things, 2.5 makes absolutely 0 difference. But go ahead.
I saw a stat this week that said out of since Matt Patricia has been a head coach for the Lions, he's only been able to win back-to-back games 1 time, I think, or it possibly was never. Either way, it was a very ridiculous number of how many times he's not been able to win back-to-back games in his career there.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
How many wins does he have to be able to win back-to-back games?
It's not that many.
Yeah.
But I will say that stat does not matter this week because I think the Lions are actually sneaky okay. They're kind of, I think, their offense in particular is flying a little bit under the radar. And I don't believe that last week's performance by the Falcons is something that you want to tail. So I'm going to take the road team again and take the Lions plus 2.5.
This is wild. I'm going to take the home team again. Go Falcons 2.5. Last week I took the Vikings. The Falcons proved me very wrong. I thought they were a much worse team than they are. They actually just need a new head coach. And the head coach that they fired is still fired, which means that they will actually play like they played last week. Fast defensive football, looking great on the offensive side. Julio Jones is back in a big way. I don't think the Lions can game plan for this defense, even though shout out Matt Patricia did help a 28-3 comeback, but against this very Falcons team. But yeah, I think it's the Falcons minus 2.5.
Real bet here is like, because I don't really like the idea of this game being less than a field goal on like by Vegas. I think like it's kind of like too close for comfort. Like, so I don't really think I would be putting much on this game, if at all. I'll stick with my pick, but I think the real bet here is the over 55.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think either of these teams play defense. So
yeah, 63% of the bets are on the under, which caused the line to move down. However, 63% of the money is on the over, which means sharps on the over. Joe, you know what that means. You're a sharp. And so you just had a great pick on that over. I'm going to follow you on that one.
Cool. Bills Jets opens at -10 in favor of the Bills. The money is clearly on the Bills because the line is now at -12. I saw it at -13 yesterday.
Wait, a little surprising fact. Actually, the bets are on the Bills at 64%, but the money is on the Jets at 54%.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, I don't really have much to say about this game aside from the fact that how can you possibly bet on the Jets?
You can't. So this is the first road team I'm taking. I am taking the Bills -12. The Bills honestly haven't looked that great the last 2 weeks. Actually have looked pretty fucking terrible the last 2 weeks. They have to bounce back. The Jets stink. You talk about teams that are actively trying to lose. The Jets are one of them, and they are leading the way in that regard. Washington at least looks like they have some semblance of a team and can make a game competitive. The Jets do not. They didn't even score last week versus the Dolphins, which the Dolphins, yeah, they're good, but they're not great. I'm taking the Bills. No, nothing else to say.
Yeah,
we promised we wouldn't spend a lot of time talking about that.
I'm going to take the Bills. The one thing that I will say that I question in regards to the idea of how much the Jets are tanking is Sam Darnold might be back this week. And you would think if they're in the sweepstakes for Trevor Lawrence, you want to build Sam Darnold's stock a little bit to be able to trade him away, right? So yeah. I wonder.
You still need to lose.
They're gonna lose. They're gonna lose games, but I'm just starting to like kind of question myself in the idea of like, well, are they going to be able to keep things in the game by basically? I don't think they're going to run the ball ever again. If they want Sam Darnold to be something that they can potentially like throw away for literally anything, because his stock right now is completely diminished.
Well, to be an effective QB in this league, you have to be able to hand off the ball. So people will want to see that.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. I think that they're going to maybe stay in games a little bit more. Not this game, though. This game, the Bills have lost 2 in a row. They need to come out. They need to fucking completely destroy the Jets if they want to believe that they have a chance in, like, the postseason and potentially getting a Super Bowl run together this season. They need to dominate this team. And I think they will.
Yeah, if crazy enough, if the Bills somehow did lose this game, I'm not saying they will, or maybe like, yeah, they're not losing the game where they're a 12-point favorite. You can mark that down. That's a sound guarantee. But if they did and Miami wins Tua's first start, Miami's in first place. Anyway, we'll get to that later.
I think if the Bills don't cover this game, I just want to credit to me here right now. If the Bills don't cover, if they don't win by 12 points or more, they're frauds. They're fraudulent. It's over for them if they don't cover this.
That's fair, but they're still probably going to win the division. But yeah, they're frauds. I agree. Next game, we have the Carolina Panthers at the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans decided to still play in the Superdome. Fun fact, they were thinking about moving to Baton Rouge and playing in the LSU Stadium. But this is a 1 p.m. game. The Saints opened as a 7.5 point favorite. They still are a 7.5 point favorite. There is 57% of the bets are on New Orleans, but 72% of the money is on the Panthers. Over/under is at 51. Joe, your thoughts?
I mean, they come off a bye week. I think this is the Saints' division to lose still. It's their division. And I think that they will ultimately win their division. So I think after the bye week, they had more than enough time to sit down, look at things, let people get a little bit healthy. Michael Thomas might be on the field this week. I think there's no reason for me to not take the Saints here. It's also a solid time after last week's game against the Bears. Credit to you for that pick. This is the time of year to fade the Panthers, fade their good start. So I will be taking the Saints over a touchdown.
So I was leaning Saints, and then I just remembered something. First of all, shout out Michael Thomas for not punching a teammate within the last 2 weeks. So he will be playing. Teddy Bridgewater is going back to New Orleans. And while he was in New Orleans, he went 4-0 against the spread when he played last year. So I think I have to take the Panthers.
Okay. That's fine.
I mean, Teddy covers.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. Listen, I'm not saying the Panthers are going to win. They probably, but this is an NFC South Division game. Those games are always close. They're tight. They're entertaining. Teddy Bridgewater has some vengeance. Drew Brees is old. The Saints kind of stink. The more and more I talk to myself, the Saints kind of, like, they have Kamara, they have Thomas, but if Drew Brees can't get the ball to Thomas, like, who cares if you have Michael Thomas? Kamara's the only bright spot on that team. Like, their defense isn't good. I'm taking the Panthers.
I see this as being one of those, like, flip-flop games in the middle of the season where the cream rises to the top, and the idea that look at the rosters on paper between the two teams, and you would never in your life pick the Panthers to win this game or even cover. Like, I would think this spread.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
But I'm saying that this is the point in the season where they just came off of a bye week. I would have to think that Sean Payton is, like, explaining to these people, like, I don't give a fuck what the 2020 brought you. You need to come out and produce because this is, again, like I said when we started this pick, this is the Saints division to lose. It's not the Saints division to win. It's the Saints division to lose. And I think, I just think that this is one of those, like, turning points in their season where they're going to come out and they're going to come out hot. They're going to do their thing. Drew Brees is going to be all the way back, if not more so. And I just don't, I think that it's quite the opposite because we were sitting here last week and I said that don't sleep on the Panthers. I watched their game against Chicago. I'm completely on the other side of that now, sitting here just a week later. And I would have also agreed with you last week if the Saints had played that I would say with you today that they stink. But now I'm saying, no, like, I flip it. I flip both of the scripts on this. I think this is a turning point for both of these teams. I think the Saints blow them out of the water, and I think Carolina comes back down to earth a little bit. I'm taking the Saints.
Yeah, I think what does it for me, and the reason I'm on the Panthers, is the 7.5. That 0.5 is very, very important. I think this could very well be a 7-point game. If you are on the Saints, I would recommend you buy down to 6.5. You'll probably be paying a steep price at like -155 or something like that to buy from 7.5 down to 6.5. But I think if you are playing the Saints, that would be worth it. And if you're playing the Panthers, you just keep the line where it is. This could very well be a 31-24 game. And therefore, I'm also on the over.
You're running to the window. You're running to the window. You're running to the window.
Window.
To get this on a teaser. You're buying the space on a teaser.
Yes.
Big time.
Run.
Running to the window. Browns, Bengals. Browns, the road team favorite, -4. They open at -4. They're currently at -3. Browns get fucking demolished by the Steelers last week. Credit to you. Sam, take it away.
I am. This Browns team is not as bad as they played last week. I even was on the Browns, but I told you that they don't get up for games. So I don't know why I let you talk me into the fact that they do get up for games. They just don't get up for games. And therefore, I'm on the Bengals. I do think the Browns are better than what they played last week. But going to Cincinnati, who's Joe Burrow's win against? What team was it they beat? Let me look this up right now.
Was it the Jags?
It was against the Jags. It was the Jags. Yeah, Joe Burrow needs his first division win. So, and I think that's going to be coming versus the Browns, who suck. The Browns. But they're not as bad as I thought they are. But they're the Browns. So, Bengals +3. I'll buy it up to 3.5 too.
Okay. No, don't agree with that. I will be taking the Browns. This is a buy low. This game would be had they not gotten steamrolled by the Steelers, I didn't know this until after we recorded yesterday, but they were winless in Pittsburgh since like the 80s or the early 90s. So
wow.
I didn't know that before I made that pick. I wish I did know that, but I didn't. So whatever, that's on me. If they had not gotten steamrolled, if it was even a close game, this game would be a 7.5, 9.5 point spread. The Bengals looked okay against the Colts, but I think that the Colts are like fraudulent. Like I think that they're kind of like not as good as I expected them to be. I know that the Bengals came out hot. The Colts ultimately came back and won that game, but yeah, I don't see the Brown. This is merely, I don't like this game at all. I probably won't actually bet on it, but I will take the pick of Browns -3 only because it's a buy low spot. You're buying the better team at a ridiculously low price against the Bengals.
T. Higgins, though, watch out.
Against the
He's
Bengals.
elite. Wait, you got the Bengals or the Browns?
It's against the Bengals. You're getting a low price against the Bengals. It's the Bengals.
Yeah, but it's the Browns.
The Browns are all right. I still believe that.
Are they? Hold on. Let's go through. I know let's take our time here on this one. Let's go through the Browns' wins this season. The Bengals by 5, which they did not cover.
Okay.
The Washington football team stink.
Yes.
Dallas Cowboys stink. Colts, actually a good win. Okay, I'll give them that. The Colts, actually a good win. And then they lose by 31 to the Steelers.
The only stat that you need to look at is the Bengals winning or losing week 1 by how many points you said? 4?
The Bengals covered week 1. They were a 6-point dog. They lost by 5.
Regardless of the cover, they lost. Okay, they lost by 5, and this
Yeah.
week they're only catching 3 points.
But they were on the road the first game, now at home. And that's your 3 points being the home team.
I'm still taking the Browns. I'm still taking the Browns.
Okay, I'm taking the Bengals. The Bengals, also fun fact, are 4-1 against the spread this season. That's pretty good. Anyway, all right, next game. Joey Burrow doesn't win games as long as he covers.
If he didn't get sacked so much, I would believe in him more. But his offensive line.
They're brutal, but he makes it work.
Steelers Titans.
The Steelers at the Titans. The Steelers opened as 1.5-point favorites, and even after that shellacking, but the Titans also looking really good. The Titans are now 1-point favorites. 53% of the bets are on the Steelers. 86% of the money is on the Titans. That is a whoppingly high number.
I don't really know where to go with this game, to be quite honest, on all assets of lines, whether it be spread, money line, or the over-under. I want to say that my heart wants to take the over, only because I think that while Tennessee's game plan might be to control the clock with Derrick Henry, Ben Roethlisberger is going to be like, no, you're not allowed to do that, and score quicker than they are, which would make me want to take the over. I don't know. This is one of the tougher games where it could literally go either way. I think that I like the Texans more, or the Titans more. So I'll take the Titans at home, and I will also I'll take the over. I look at this game being like a 28-24. What's that get me? 52? Yeah. I'll take the over 50.5. And the Titans win this game late.
I agree with you on Titans based on line movement, with 86% of the money being on the Titans. That is a sharp bet. We are sharps, so we are both going to be on the Titans, I guess. I don't really have a play on the over-under. I could very well see this game being 37-31, and I can also very well see it being 10-7. So I am going to stay away from this game. Fun. Both 5-0 teams. If you could sprinkle like a little dust, like the smallest of dust's particles, sprinkle a little bit on both teams to tie. Sprinkle. We could have a tie game this week, and this 5-0 versus 5-0 matchup could end 5-0-1 for both teams. Sprinkle a little dust. Okay. Next game, getting into the 4:00 slate, the only 4:05 game of the week. We have Bucks at the Raiders. The Bucks are 4-point favorites going into this game. Joe, what do you got?
I don't see. Do you have a over/under on this game? I don't see an over/under set right now.
Yeah, it's not popping up for me.
That's interesting. Well,
I guess
Google. They're probably waiting to see if the Raiders are going to have an offensive line or not this weekend, because they all got put into quarantine.
I completely forgot about that.
I think that this game is very much, you want to wait until the right before kickoff to bet it. I don't think that you want to get in on it early, only because you don't know exactly who's going to be on the field for the Raiders. If the Raiders
are under 52.
52?
52.
Okay. Yeah. I'm probably not going to touch that, only because of the situation that they're having currently with COVID and not knowing exactly who they're going to have on the field. I want to take the Bucks -3.5. I don't like that 0.5. I think I would probably try to buy it down. I mean, if the Raiders are, in fact, completely healthy, I think I would actually look more into the value side of this and take the Raiders' money line if they have everybody that they're playing. But if they do, in fact, again, like I said, I don't think I would touch this until 4:00. on Sunday until you have more information on who exactly is playing. If the Raiders are fully healthy, you're taking them money line. If they do not have an offensive line, you're taking the Bucks -3.5.
Yeah. I would have been all over the Raiders. The Bucks last week actually very much impressed me. I did not think they were as good as they showed last week. The only issue I see is I don't get how this line is only 4 if the entire Raiders offensive line isn't playing, because that seems like a big deal when you have 5 starters out in a position that requires 5 guys. So I'm going to reluctantly take the Bucks here. I didn't want to do it, but I think that is realistically the only option. But now that I'm thinking about it, everyone's going to be on the Bucks. And you said this is a public week, but I don't like public weeks. I'm going the Raiders +4.
Okay. All right. All right.
But yeah, again, like as you said, I'm not touching this game until 4:04 on Sunday afternoon.
Yep. You wait until the minute before kickoff to see what's going on exactly here with that game. Chiefs Broncos 4:25. Chiefs in Mile High City, like 9.5 against the Broncos. Sam, what do you got?
And you eat off a bye. Did they have a bye last week? No, they played. Yes, no. Did they?
They played Monday night. They played Monday night against the Bills.
Oh, so that's not a bye at all. That's not even close to a bye. So scratch that. Andy Reid not off a bye. Monday night, that means short week. Come back playing in Denver, Mile High. Air quality not great, hard to breathe. I got not much to say on this game other than the Chiefs are a absolute wagon. It seems like even though they only scored 26 points, 23 or 26 points versus the Bills, it seemed like they got 7 yards on every single play. Hard to stop a team when they get 7 yards on every single play. I like that this is sitting at 9.5 rather than at 10.5. I will take the Chiefs.
How many points do you think the Chiefs are going to score? Just out of curiosity, off the top of your head.
I say this is a 27-9 game.
Okay.
The Broncos didn't score TD versus the Patriots last week. They kicked 6 field goals. I expect that trend to continue.
Yeah. So that's where my mind rests currently. Team that's able to succeed enough offensively to get down the field the way that the Broncos did against the Patriots. I think that this spread is just a little too high for me to be able to take the Chiefs. Like you said, short week, Mile High. Andy Reid might have trouble play calling because he might not be able to breathe properly. He might think that he has COVID. Who knows? I think that I have to take the Broncos based on time management, and I think that they will be able to score touchdowns in their home court compared to – they haven't scored a touchdown in, 3 weeks because they didn't play for 2 weeks before last Sunday? They haven't scored a touchdown in 3 weeks.
Yeah, they haven't.
Yeah, so I'm all over the Broncos in this game, and on top of that, because I'm all over the Broncos in this game and my – idea that they're actually going to be able to succeed in at least scoring 1 or 2 touchdowns, maybe a couple of field goals. I think I'm taking the over in this game as well, because I do think that the Chiefs are more likely than not going to win this game. I don't think that the Broncos are going to win, but I just think that 9.5 underdogs, home dogs, is too much for a team that hasn't scored a touchdown in 3 weeks and is well capable. If they're able to get the ball down the field, they are well capable at home of getting into the end zone. I'm taking the Broncos plus 9.5. I'm taking you.
Wow, love it.
There we go.
So if they scored 2 touchdowns and a field goal, what do you see? A 26-17 game? That doesn't even get you over.
No, well, 46 and 46. What's you know what? Put it in. Put it right here.
31-17.
Put it right here. Oh, that means that they don't cover. That means that they didn't cover. No, okay. Take that out. Take that out. This box right here. Just take. Whoop.
Remove it. Swipe through.
Push it to the side.
It's
Okay.
pretty contradictory.
I'll say that this game is probably like a 31-24 game.
Oh, so you haven't scored 3 touchdowns.
Don't talk me out of this. Don't talk me out of this. Don't talk me out of this.
For every,
Broncos
they're going to score. They're scoring a touchdown for every week they haven't scored a touchdown.
Broncos in the over.
All right, next game we got 49ers Patriots. Patriots opened as 5.5-point favorites. Everyone saw them stink last week versus those very Broncos. They are now 2-point favorites. 51% of the bets are on the Patriots. 59% of the money is on the 49ers. Joe, what do you got?
I called out Jimmy Garoppolo for saying this time today he would be looking for a job. I think he earned his job last weekend. I think George Kittle is like one of the best players in the NFL right now. I don't really know. The Patriots couldn't do a goddamn thing. They looked horrible, which makes me question Bill Belichick.
Horrible.
Like he is too busy making Subway commercials where he doesn't talk, and it makes me question whether or not he's like all there mentally.
Bill Belichick. Did you watch the game last week?
I was in and out. I had money on it. I was in and out.
There was some questionable decision making on his end for like the first time ever in his career. Did you see the James White? He clearly got a first down. The refs ruled him short, and Bill Belichick just refused to challenge it. It's like a 3rd and 3 in the fourth quarter when very much the spread was in the balance, or at least for my teaser it was. And then James White got called down to take a 4th and 1 at their own 35, which should have been a first down by like 3 yards. And Bill Belichick just refused to challenge it. Give it a full 40 seconds and punted it away. It was wild. Anyway, continue, sir.
No, you're fine. I don't. I make jokes. I make jokes about like Bill Belichick like spending too much time making Subway commercials and everything, and like, I just don't know if I don't know if he's like all there right now. Like I seriously don't. Like I seriously don't know if Bill Belichick is like all there right now. Like he might be going through what I like to relate it to is like a breakup. Like he might be going through like a breakup, like with Tom Brady. Like he might be like he might be looking for a rebound. Cam Newton is not the answer for your rebound.
Well, it is if they just run. The Cam Newton should run the ball in every single play. They should just line up, power I, put a fullback right in front, and just pound Cam Newton down the throat.
I don't like the spread in this game. I'm probably not going to actually bet it. If I was going to bet anything, I would probably bet the over. I don't even like that. I'll probably bet the over 43.5 only because I just don't see the Patriots having another offensive issue this weekend, or at least as much of an issue as they've had the past 2 games that they've played in a month span. Kind of like similar mentality to the Broncos. I just think that they get it together a little bit more, which makes me want to take the Patriots. I guess for pick wise, I'll take the Niners pick wise. I'll take the Niners money line, and I will take I'll take the over. I'm taking
money line.
Money line. The Patriots aren't winning.
All right, so I had the same dilemma as you were talking through this. I really didn't know where I was going to land, and then a light bulb went off in my head. Light bulb up here. Jimmy G used to be on the Patriots. Billy Belichick loved Jimmy G. Actually wanted reports were, I don't know if this is true, wanted to replace Tom Brady with Jimmy G. Tom Brady went on to win 2 more Super Bowls, so that was kind of sick. But I will say 3 more Super Bowls. I will say Bill Belichick knows Jimmy G. He knows his strengths. He knows his weaknesses. Billy B, even though he may have lost it a little bit last week, still a great coach. Will find a way to counteract all of Jimmy G's strengths. Will find a way to expose his weaknesses. George Kittle, very similar to Travis Kelce. Patriots like to take away the tight end. The biggest issue, I think, for the Patriots this game is stopping the speed of Ayuk and Debo. They don't really have a corner. Gilmore will lock up your big receiver, but they don't really have some of the guys that will stop these 2 speedy guys. I think they'll take a Tyreek Hill approach with Debo and then kind of let Ayuk beat them. But because of everything I just said, I'm going to actually take the Patriots, talk myself into the Patriots. I also was thinking of taking the over. This game could be 17-14. This game could be 28-21. Because you're on the over, I will ride with you and take the over as well.
Woo! Love that.
Yeah.
All right, Jags, Chargers. The last of the 425 games. Chargers at home, 7.5-point favorites. Sam, what do you got?
So this is wild. I don't think I've ever seen a 1-win team this late into the season be a 7.5-point favorite. Have you?
The Eagles were close at the open for last night's game.
It's true. Yeah, but they closed at 4.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean that's big. That's a 3-point difference. But I think because of that, I think I have to take the Chargers. Everyone should be betting the Jags at that price. The Chargers are coming off a bye week. I kind of fucking love Justin Herbert. He is sick. Is Keenan Allen back? He's back, right? His back is back.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, okay. So Keenan Allen's back is back. Keenan Allen is back. I'm taking the Chargers, 7.5.
Yeah, I mean, I have no reason to bet on the Jags at all. They are who we thought they were.
They are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Also be over.
49, that's a high number for this shit game. I hate that this is a 4 game because it's probably going to be what I'm forced to watch on CBS.
31-21. Chargers.
Yeah, probably. The Chargers defense doesn't speak anything to me. Minshew will probably be able to put up some points, but not enough. Yeah, I'm on the Chargers. I like your 10-point difference. So I'll ride the over as well. I don't like it, though. Just put that here. I don't like it, though.
No Joe scores this week.
No Joe score this week that I've yet said.
We thought we had one, but it was canceled.
Yes. It got cut. It got cut loose.
Anyway, next game, Sunday night football game. This is going to be an absolute doozy, I think. We have the Seahawks coming off a bye, opening as a 3.5-point favorite, currently still a 3.5-point favorite over the home team of the Arizona Cardinals. The money is all over the Seahawks in every which way in this game. 61% of the bets on the Seahawks, 86% of the money is on the Seahawks. Joe, I have a feeling I know where you're going on this one. Please advise.
So I don't know if you do. Because while I love betting the public this weekend, this is one game where the Seahawks are losing this game. The Cardinals, you take the Cardinals money line. You sprinkle the money line. They are going to roll. On their offensive play call from the Cowboys game, and they're going to do what they know they can do best. They're going to control the game clock. they're going to utilize Kyler Murray in every way possible. The Seahawks are probably coming into this game with their heads held a little bit too high. I think they're going to overlook the Cardinals. I think this is going to be their first loss this season. Most of the Seahawks games have been pretty freaking close and against not great teams. Hold on. I know that they had the Vikings. Who else have they played?
I mean, the Seahawks are 4-1 against spread this year. They beat the Falcons by 13 week one when they were 1 point dog. They beat the Patriots by 5. That game did come down to the last play, but they were a 4.5 point favorite there, so they covered. Beat the Cowboys with Dak by 7 when they were 5.5 point favorite. Beat the Dolphins by 8 on the road when they were a 4.5 point favorite. Only game they have not covered was against the Vikings when they were 6.5 point favorite and they won by 1.
And I think
that also came down to the end.
I think the only game that didn't hit the over was the Seahawks-Vikings game. Oh, so they're off a bye too. Yeah, I hate away teams off of byes. I hate away teams off of bye weeks. So yeah, I still like my Cardinals. I think that the Cardinals kind of hit a different level against the Cowboys. I know it's the Cowboys, but the Seahawks are like I understand your stat, but they also like 38-25 Seahawks against the Falcons, 35-30 Seahawks against Patriots, 38-31 Seahawks against Cowboys, 31-23 Seahawks against the Dolphins, 27-26 Seahawks against the Vikings. It's too many. These games are close and they're not good teams. Like, these teams stink.
You just repeat every single score I just said?
Did you say the scores?
Yeah.
This would be a great time for me to. I know this is a little unorthodox, but this is a great set. This is just a great time for me to incorporate our second ad tonight.
So before I even get to pick.
Yes, I'm saying
you're having a big Bill Belichick moment right now.
Fresh naps. I clearly need a fresh nap. Not in the sense of the moist towelette, but in the sense of me getting my head checked, because apparently I just went blackout there for a second.
It happened.
Listen, sometimes you're on a date, you're craving. It's Sunday, you want to take the lady friend out to Buffalo Wild Wings. In this quarantine time, maybe you want to just go get wings and bring them home. You're just going ham. You can't eat wings cleanly. You go into it like a man does, and they get sauce all over your face, all over your hands. What better way to clean that up for your lady friend than by opening up a nice fresh nap? I do like the name too, because fresh nap. I clearly need a nap. I need a nap. I'm too hungover from the Eagles game last night to be doing this right now. You probably should fade me in every sense of the term. Cardinals money line and the over.
Twinkle. Yeah. So surprising fact about the Cardinals. I just was looking at this as I was telling you the scores that you repeated. Every single Cardinals game has gone under this season. Every single one. They are 5-0 with the under. So that's kind of wild. I don't know whether I think that streak should continue or end. 70% of the money is on the over, with only 50% of the bets being on the over. That caused the line to move up from 54.5 to 56. Seahawks on a bye, and I would tell you what, if this spread was 2.5, I'd be all over the Seahawks. 3.5. I think I'm going to come down to the Cardinals. I think this rivalry has the potential to be what Seahawks 49ers has been in the last 3 years, and those games have always been close. I think this comes down to a field goal or a last-second goal line play. I'm not going to take the money line. I'm going to take the Cardinals plus 3.5. And the over. 38-35. Final score one way or the other. I don't know. Moving on to the Monday night game, last game of the week. That's kind of cool. This is a good Monday night game in terms of record, but I still think these two teams are kind of not great. Bears at the Rams. The Rams opened up as a 7-point favorite, moved down to a 6-point favorite. 69% of the money or bets are on the under. 91% of the money is on the under, which is at 45. And then 54% of the bets on the Rams, with 61% of the money being on the Rams. So what do you got?
I like the one thing that I am pretty sold on about the Bears right now is their defense. I think that their defense is kind of like fully back to being like what you would expect Chicago Bear defense to be. I don't like them here in this spot, especially with the Rams having like a loss to the Niners, who previously lost to the Dolphins, got shit kicked by the Dolphins. Yeah, so I think this is a bounce back spot for the Rams. I don't like the line. I think it's too many points. Bears keep things close. They like to either come back into games or they like to give up leads. Either way, my biggest line here is the under. I will be taking the under 45 only because of my faith in the Bears defense. And with that said, because I also believe that Bears keep games close, I'll probably take the plus 5.5. It sucks that it opened at 7 because I would have preferred to take plus 7 or buy it up to plus 7.5 over the 5.5. But based on just my overall mentality on the Bears right now, I think 5.5 is still a little bit too many points that you can be giving that team. So I'm all over the Bears in this game and the under.
You know what you could do here? This could be a sick Joe play. It could be your more log based on the way you've been talking all day too. You could tease the Saints and the Bears.
I love that.
You could run to the window. You could run to that window
to tease the Saints and the Bears. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
Anyway, my pick here, I'm clueless. I think I agree with you where Bears like to keep games close. Bears defense is solid. I do think the Rams have more firepower than the Panthers, who put up 16 points last week. And 45 is a very low number in this day and age. I could very well see this game being 27-21, which means that would go over. I am going to try to buy this game up to 7. Hopefully by Monday night it moves a little bit more where it's at 6.5. But I will be taking the Bears plus 6.5, plus 7 based on what I could buy it up to. And then I'm actually going to take the over.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, here we are. Mortal lock time.
We're at the mortal lock stage. And just to recap, last week I went 2-2. Joe went 3-1.
3-1. 3-1.
3-1. 3-1.
That's better. That's better than 50%. And 50% is a good number.
50% is trash. You need to be at 50%.
That's a good gambling number.
No, that's
a
lot of juice
with anything. 50% is a good number. You should feel proud about yourself. You should feel proud.
No,
you should feel proud. But at the end of the day, it's 3-1. What's that? 70%.
75%.
75%. That's 75% is a better number. At the end of the day, but you should still feel good. You should feel good.
75% greater than sign 50%.
You should feel good. You should feel good.
I don't.
I just realized also too that this entire episode that I've had like my Zoom window in a very precarious position based on my camera. The entire episode I've just been looking at the side.
You have been, but that's okay.
That's okay because you should feel good.
I don't.
You should feel good.
As the Mortal Law King, though, I'll let you go first this week.
Okay. First game I'm going to go with is Green Bay because I just don't think that you should psych yourself into thinking that the Houston Texans are going to do anything in that game. Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers is fucking pissed. He's pissed that he lost to Tom Brady. Pissed! You're taking Green Bay minus 3.5. Mortal lock.
So that's funny because I was trying to figure out which pick I like the most. So the ones that we just talked about, and I hate it the most, which is why it's going to be my mortal log is the Texans. So we're going to have a mortal log off again.
Okay.
Plus, all right, my mortal log is the Texans plus 3.5 as of this recording, but I still expect the line to go up in the Packers' favor, as we discussed. So whatever the line is closing out on Sunday, I want as my line for.
That's not how this works.
Unless it goes.
That's not how this works.
That's what I'm going to put in the bed.
You're giving your mortal lock right now. Give it
Yeah,
right
but
now.
I want to put it. I'm going to put the bet in on Sunday. I'm not going to put it in the bet right now.
Well, I'm editing this after my 10:30 meeting, so you're getting 3.5.
3.5. Okay, fine. I'll take that. That's still my lock.
My next mortal lock is the over in the Atlanta-Detroit game. I think both of those offenses are going to be able to succeed. Whether or not I'm able to get my other pick of Detroit plus 2.5 to hit, I will be using that over in my mortal locks over 55.
Wait, I have a question. Why did you take Detroit plus 2.5 and you give that stat that Matt Patricia can't win back-to-back games?
Because I don't believe in the Falcons winning 2 games in a row based on who they are. Like, we know who they are. They give up games. And I think that the Detroit offense is low key, like, good. Offense.
Yeah, but the Falcons did this last year. They started 1-5 and then went 9-6, and now they started 0-5 and they might go 10-5.
Okay. They don't have a head coach. They don't have a head coach.
And apparently they don't need a head coach to be successful. The head coach actually hinders them.
I said that I didn't like either. Like, I'm probably not betting on the game. I said that I don't know. I don't like the line. It's too close for me to call. But because I have to give a pick, I'm taking the Detroit Lions plus 2.5 only because I just don't think that the Falcons have it in them to win back-to-back games. They very well may. Like, I think that it's going to be a high-scoring game, hence why my mortal lock right here is the over. I think it's going to be like 31 or 32-28 type of deal, maybe like 37-31, something in like that range. But that game, I think it's going to be a good game. I just don't believe in the Falcons enough. And also that stat, I always like to say that people are due. When you show me a stat where it's like, oh, so-and-so hasn't, like last weekend, for example, like the Browns at the Steelers, they haven't won since 1980 or whatever the fuck it was. I always love those stats because I'm like, oh, they're due. Like, they're due.
How'd that turn out?
Change.
How'd that turn out?
It didn't. But I love them. Just because my kid isn't good at playing baseball doesn't mean I don't still love them. Just because
but you're not going to bet on your kid.
Doesn't mean I don't still love them.
You're not going to lose money on your kid. Oh,
you lose a lot of money on kids. I don't have a kid.
Yeah, I know.
In real life, but you lose a lot of money on kids.
I got sent this post yesterday, to go completely off topic for a second. I got sent this post yesterday where this dad was collecting bets on his kid's little league baseball game, and it was just like whether or not a kid's going to get hit, how many errors kids are going to make, like how many balls in a row is a pitcher going to throw, and he's just sitting there not even watching his kid play anymore. He's just collecting all these bets from all these other parents, and I'm like, that's going to be me when I grow up.
I love it.
Anyway, yeah. Well, I am a grown-up. I didn't mean to say when I grow up. I just meant when I actually become a real-life adult. So I was doing a lot of selling there because I didn't know what I wanted to take for my second mortal lock. I still don't really know, but I am going to take the Falcons minus 2.5.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I can see it. I can see that being a
fact. I just want you to be able to see it. That's all I care about.
I can see it.
Okay.
Are we doing 4 this week, or are we going back to 3?
No, 3.
Okay.
3.
That's what I was hoping for.
We don't want 500 records on the show. You're either a winner or a loser.
You're a winner or a loser. Yep. I hear you.
Yeah.
But you should be proud. You should be proud. You should be proud. I know that I hit 75%, but you should be proud of your 50%. It's a good game. I still like my mentality on the Jets have to prove Sam Darnold is like a piece that they could move for anything, being in the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes. With that said, I believe more in the fact that the Bills need to prove themselves this week. They need to shit kick the Jets. I will be taking Bills minus 12.
Okay, I think my last pick is the game we actually most recently discussed. I think I'm going to take Bears plus 6.
Okay.
All right. So just in summary, just so I'm aware of what I've picked, it's a Houston plus 3.5, Falcons minus 2.5, Bears plus 6. Wow, I love those. I love my Morlocks this week. I hate them so much. I love them.
I love mine as well. Green Bay minus 3.5, Atlanta, Detroit over 55, and Bills minus 12. I love mine.
Wow.
Love mine.
I mean,
All right. Well, I still say to end this episode, I still say this is a public week, so
wait,
keep that in.
you didn't do your lock of the week as your teaser.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I don't like doing teasers as like a lock. Like, I love that teaser. Though. You run to the window, and you tell the bookie, I want to bring the Saints minus 7.5 down to Saints pick'em. Just Saints.
You have 7.5 point spread swings on your teasers.
I get between 6 and 7.5. Yeah.
Mine's are between 6 and 7.
All right. Well, I mean, I would still actually probably take 6 because I like the Bears plus 7. So 6 points would get me there. And I like the Saints by at least a field goal, if not more. So, yeah, you take 6 points. You get whatever the lowest teaser is that you can get. You tease the Saints and the Bears to 6 points for sure.
It's not your lock, but it's
not a Warlock because teasers they're a cop out from Warlocks. They're a cop out.
Okay, that's fair.
You can't be putting that in, but
it's not a mortal lock, but it is a lock.
Oh, it's
like
a lock. It's a lock. Yeah.
You just jinxed yourself. You played yourself. Put that gif in. You played.
No, I didn't. All right, that's Build the House episode 2. I gotta go get ready for my 10:30 meeting. Sam, it's been a pleasure as always.
It's been great. It's been fun. Really enjoyed it.
All right, I'll talk to you next week. See ya.
See ya.